All right, all right, all right. What up, party people? Bobo here with BrassReel Brothers. Thanks for coming back into the episode of BrassReel Tonight. Man, I wasn't able to do the episode yesterday just because I had a bunch of stuff on my computer. I just had to clean it out. It was just way too gunked up. Things running slow. It was taking me forever to start to do a video. So I said, you know what? Got to stop and take the time, clean this bad boy out. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for being patient with me. Like I said, for the 6 fans that I have out there that are watching this and listening to this, appreciate you guys coming back today for some stuff. And man, do we have some news. Hopefully soon you'll be seeing more advertisements about this stuff, more posts. Hopefully this show is going to get more of a professional live stream quality to it. I'll be able to kind of stream in music, stream in more stuff rather than just sharing my screen like I'm doing right now. It'll just start seeming more like a show that covers movie news. My goal is to just up it every show, get it better and better and better as best I can to my means, you know, considering what I have. So just, you know, any recommendations anybody has to how to stream live better as far as looking like a professional show that's streaming live, incorporating all kinds of different graphics or article pieces here and there, fading them in rather than just cutting to my screen like I'm sharing right now. So if you got any tips, send it to me in the comments or anything like that. Let me know. Any help could help. And if you haven't done so already, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate it. It does help way more than you can realize. And we also got the reviews on here. I've got multiple things where I have guests on this show, but I always do my reviews at least 1 a week, sometimes 2 a week. Halloween coming up though, I got a big surprise planned. So I hope that everybody's ready for that one. Not dragging on two more though. I want to get this show a little tighter and a little quicker. So I'm just going to get onto some news. Right now, just kind of covering a few things. A lot of times when I have a guest, we'll kind of talk about one specific topic, or we'll maybe cover a movie we just saw a little bit. We'll cover multiple things. But today, I am going to kind of just zoom through some stuff because we got a lot going on. We got a ton going on. So first things first. Not sure if you guys saw Black Widow this last weekend, what your thoughts are on it. The more and more I think about it, the more I like it. There are a lot of people that aren't liking it. In fact, one of the guys that I watched, Drum Dum, who's one of my favorite, or Drum Dums. I always say Drum Dum. It's Drum Dums. I think it's Drum Dums. Oh, now I'm second guessing myself. But he's one of my favorites. One of the inspirations I have for doing my own channel. And he said it was hot relish. And that's one of his ways of describing a film. If it's not good, if he thinks it's just terrible, he calls it hot relish. And that's what he thought about Black Widow. And he even says, you think, he started his video out with saying, you guys think F9 was bad. What about Black Widow? And I don't think it was like that. I think it was the other way around. But, you know, to each their own. That's what I love about these channels. Everybody's opinion matters. And I don't discredit anyone's opinion. And everybody's opinion matters. Like I said, if you like something for a certain reason, I can't tell you if you're wrong for liking it for a reason you may like it. So many things that I like are just ridiculous. But I love them. And you can't take that away from me. So with that being said, we got some new stuff about the MCU. Black Widow, I liked it, and it was the first installment of this new phase. Well, not really, because the TV shows have been an installment. We've had WandaVision and all that. But this is Black Widow was the first MCU film we had gotten in a while. And recently, some leaks had come out about the Spider-Man suit. The new Spider-Man suit going to be in No Way Home. You guys know every time there's a new movie, they always change the suits up. A lot of time it's because of the storyline, but sometimes mainly it's because of marketing. You want to sell more toys. But the MCU has done a really good job of explaining why the suits are different in their movies, that it connects to a storyline somehow. It makes sense why their suit is different. Whereas if you think about like the original Batman movie, like from 1 and 2, his suit was totally different with Michael Keaton, you know, the original and then Returns. Those suits were totally different. They never explained why. They never gave you any sort of reasoning or anything like that. At least the Nolan films, they gave you reasoning. Well, now we've got Lego leaking, and they do this sometimes. I don't know if they're doing it on purpose or what, but they leaked this picture right here. And sorry, let me move this around. But this is the new Lego merchandise coming out for Spider-Man No Way Home, which we're getting in December. Next movie we're getting is Shang-Chi. Then we're getting Eternals, and then we're getting this in December, Spider-Man No Way Home, the third installment of the trilogy. And this is where things are starting to break down multiverse-wise. It looks like they were starting to do that in Loki, which, by the way, I saw the finale early this morning. All my theories were true, by the way. Just saying, I'm not going to get into that right now because some people maybe haven't seen it yet, but all my theories were true. Just remember I said that. I even got a thumbnail showing what my theories are. So, hopefully somebody catches on and is like, yeah, that guy's a genius. Well, not really. But this is showing the new suit. We've got Spider-Man right here, and it looks like it's a mix between the Iron Spider from Infinity War and Endgame. And then it also looks like it's kind of doing that white. It's still gold, but it looks like it's taken from the game a little bit, the Marvel Spider-Man game. I don't know if you guys played that or not, but I love that game. And that he has a white spider suit or a white symbol of a spider, and it wraps around him like this. It doesn't look exactly the same, but it definitely looks similar. It looks like they're trying to do some sort of a hybrid with that game, because that game suit was really popular, which in the game, there's a reason that he gets that suit with the white on it. I mean, it ties into the story of the game. So if they're going for this, I'm excited about it. I like it when they change it up. I've loved the Spider-Man movies in the MCU thus far. There's some people that think they're not quite as good as the Raimi films, or at least 1 and 2 of Raimi. I like them equally. I think that they're just different. They're the MCU Spider-Man, not Raimi's Spider-Man. However, I do think Tom Holland is the best representation of Peter Parker. That's just me. I don't think that Tobey Maguire did a bad job. I think that Tobey Maguire definitely looked older than Spider-Man should have looked. Everybody in those movies looked older than they should have looked. But I do like Tom Holland. I believe him as Spider-Man, and they started him out young enough to where he looks like the kid he's playing. So I'm definitely happy about that. Suit looks cool to me. We know we're going to get all kinds of major MCU universe changing events happening in this movie. Like I said, it's already kind of starting to happen in Loki. I'm not going to say anymore. I'm going to have another episode where me and someone else, I think probably me and Rylan might. No, because Rylan and I are going to talk about Fear Street trilogy on Monday. So my buddy Peter and I might discuss Loki, because that was crazy. And I was right in a sense, but mostly right. Also, some other Marvel news. Kevin Feige, you guys don't know who he is. I'm sure you do. He is the god of Marvel as far as the MCU universe is concerned. He's the one that makes all the decisions. And he just came out with this recently. He just put out a video that I have to say, sorry, this is taking long. Man, my computer's still just not up to par where it should be. But he just put out a video recently just covering all the MCU stuff. Every single thing that we got coming out in the MCU as far as the phase 4. Talks about, I don't know if you guys see there's Abomination right there, fighting Shang-Chi, and we'll get to that in 1 second. Abomination from the Incredible Hulk movie. Talks about the presence of the Eternals, why it's so important, why they haven't been here this whole time, even though they were sort of the creators in the beginning. And I really think that you guys, if you want to do a little research on the Eternals, Jack Kirby and his creation of that whole thing, which is not very hard to catch up on. A lot of people think that it's a huge deal. It's only like originally it was only like a 12-issue miniseries. So it's kind of easy to catch up on. Great Pulitzer Prize winning type stuff, in my opinion. But the other thing I really like this is if you see right here, they ask him about Venom joining the MCU universe. And he's like, look, I don't want to talk obviously about any rumors or speculations, but I'm not going to dismiss anything. And I think I'm not saying that he's saying that Venom is coming into the MCU, but I think at this point, the way we're seeing the Morbius trailer with Michael Keaton at the end there, they're going to start tying stuff together. I think Sony and Disney realize that they should play ball. We all want to see it happen. They're only going to please the fans by doing it. They just need to wait for the good story. Don't just do it to do it like they did with Spider-Man 3 and shoehorn Venom in there. Make sure it works for the MCU. And if they do that, I think I hate to say it's inevitable, but I think it's going to happen. I really do. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Venom in No Way Home. I'm just saying, I feel like they're building a Sinister Six for No Way Home with having Jamie Foxx back in there, having Dr. Ock back in there. What's his name? I'm drawing a blank. Alfred Molina as Doc Ock. That's coming back in. Now it's been confirmed that Willem Dafoe is going to be Green Goblin. We've already got the other Spider-Man from the other movies going to be in there. I mean, look, I'm just saying, Venom could be in there. So don't dismiss that. And, I think it's kind of cool that Sam Raimi is doing this whole Doctor Strange thing. If Sam Raimi could have some sort of tie-in with, because I feel like Spider-Man's going to be in the Doctor Strange movie. if Sam Raimi could finally get like a better Venom that would work better, I think that'd be cool. Sort of clean the slate for him. Talks a little bit about Black Panther and stuff like that. Talks a little bit about Hawkeye, but he definitely is just reassuring everybody that these phases are coming out. And I like everything that he's having to say about it. He's talking about the involvement of Sony going forward. They don't have any plans to not go forward. I'm just happy about the whole thing. Like I said, Shang-Chi's coming up here. So I wouldn't be surprised if this whole phase 4 turns out by the end of it all to be even as big as Endgame got. Just give it some time. Trust these movies that are coming out like Eternals and all these other, because they're starting with some new characters. They can't just focus on Captain America forever. If they did that, we'd already be piecing out. I feel like maybe you got some diehards that want to see more Captain America with Chris Evans and all that, but I loved it and loved everything that happened, but it's done, at least for now. Not saying that some sort of time thing can't change things around to where there could be some other like team up movie in the future. But for right now, I'm over that part of Marvel. I am excited about this forward motion they got going, the more galactic side, because they were doing more of the street level side, even though it got major. Now they're going to do more space and galactic type stuff. I mean, they're already doing that. If you look at WandaVision and Loki, Falcon Winter Soldier wasn't that, but they're maintaining all sides. But I'm really excited about this future galactic side of things going out. On the coattails of Kevin Feige and his whole thing, I got to talk about, I know you guys saw this right here. I mean, this is too good. Genius marketing by Disney. I don't know if I've ever seen any smarter marketing all wrapped up for 3 movies. I mean, think about this. Free Guy, 3 movies and advertising a transition, because they're advertising Free Guy, which is a Disney movie. Ryan Reynolds, it's one of his little babies he was working on, which I got to say, the more I see the preview for that, I like it. And I think I'm going to like it. It looks good. But if you look at this picture right here, they're watching the trailer that's doing a trailer reaction of Free Guy. So the whole trailer of Free Guy plays while they're dissecting it and having fun. Deadpool is being his character, talking to Korg from Thor, and he's going to be Thor Love and Thunder as well. But Korg is, I'm sure you guys know this, but if you don't know, he's played by Taika Waititi, who is the director of the last Thor and the upcoming Thor Love and Thunder. And he's also the villain in Free Guy. So the fact that they're sort of like breaking the 4th and 5th and 6th wall right here, just they're crossing so many barriers talking to the audience. He even mentions like a Fox fire sale and stuff like that. Just a lot of good humor, really smart, and even asking the question, is he going to be in the M.C.U? And I think the way they end this is pretty much saying, yeah, he's in there. They're just all advertising it. Who knows? Maybe Taika got a hold of something, and maybe Taika Waititi is going to direct a Deadpool movie. How great would that be? I mean, it fits. His humor's there for it, and give Taika some more R-rated stuff to work with, I think would be awesome. And I don't think that Disney's going to go PG-13 with Deadpool. I really don't. I think they're going to go R-rated with it. I'm not saying that it even will be released under Disney Plus or Disney, the regime of the M.C.U. We might have Deadpool movies released under 20th Century Studios. Because if you guys don't know, when Disney acquired Fox, they didn't necessarily want to just ruin everything there. There was a lot of momentum that Fox had built up. 20th Century Fox is one of the OG film studios. I mean, for real, at one point, it was one of the biggest. So, and everybody knows that, you know, that's in front of Star Wars. It's in front of so many other things. They acquired X-Men with all this. X-Men, they're going to be releasing, X-Men, they're going to be releasing under the M.C.U. regime. I do feel like that. And the Fantastic Four, same thing. Daredevil, same thing. They're going to be releasing that all under the M.C.U. regime. However, I don't think they're going to be doing Deadpool under that, because that's that one character that sort of staked his claim in that R-rated world. And I think they're just going to keep releasing him under 20th Century Studios. They're not calling it 20th Century Fox. They're calling it 20th Century Studios. But I do think that he'll play in some M.C.U. films, and those movies can coincide. But like, for example, I wouldn't be surprised if he showed up in an X-Men movie coming up soon. Well, whenever they do make them, or if he shows up in an Avengers movie coming up soon, whenever that happens, the next one, or a team up movie somehow with someone else, maybe even in a Spider-Man movie for a second. But I don't think, and you know, they might even curse in those and might even bleep it out for him having this whole 4th wall thing. But as far as his OG original films, like Deadpool 3, I believe that's going to be a 20th century project, not a 20th century studios project, not a M.C.U project. Still made by Marvel, still made by 20th century studios, which is owned by Disney, but not in the same club. It's like that R-rated club tapping over into the M.C.U occasionally, but still having its own area. Anyways, not trying to speak to everybody like you are idiots, but sometimes I find it easy to break or find it helpful to break that stuff down like that because I do nerd out on all that. I'm a nerd on the info. I love reading all the gossip in Hollywood, what's going on. And that being said, let's move on to the next thing. Loki season 2 is happening. I don't know if you guys watched the finale yet. I don't want to say anything about anything in the finale because, like I said, I'm going to say that for another episode to really talk about it, some spoilers of it, and it just came out today, so I don't want to spoil anything. But they announced it before any they already announced it. You know what I'm saying? Publicly, they've announced there will be a season 2. That's the first season 2 we've gotten announcements of the shows thus far. Because I think WandaVision was a one shot. I think Falcon Winter Soldier is a one shot. I think, could be wrong. I thought Loki was going to be a one shot, but apparently it's not. They said Loki is coming in season 2, which if they got something cool to tell, awesome. And if it's part of the fabric of the overarching narrative of the MCU coming up of phase 4, then I'm cool with whatever they do. Just make it good. And I got to say, the way Loki ended, I liked it. I thought it was good. I still wasn't blown away with it like I was WandaVision. WandaVision, I really, really, really enjoyed, like thoroughly through to the end. I thought it was original. This was original, but this also, it just was, can't even put my finger on the exact term that I can describe it with right now. It just wasn't, it seemed like a cliffhanger kind of. So therefore I didn't have that full on satisfaction, but I'll rewatch it again. I did think it was awesome. I thought it was better than Falcon Winter Soldier. For me, it's WandaVision, Loki, Falcon Winter Soldier thus far. And Falcon Winter Soldier being not a major step back, but a significant step back from the Loki and WandaVision. It just felt like it was a story they were trying to tell and just like get out there so they could skip to some stuff of having John Walker go through his U.S. agent thing and everything like that, or go through his Captain America thing so they could make him U.S. agent. And anyways, we'll see how that ends up working out, but that's just my thoughts on that. There will be a season 2 of Loki. Also, if you guys are in more of the adult world of comics, kind of like the Deadpool thing we were just talking about, you guys are some Boys fans, we got this coming out, Boys season 3. And it was really interesting the way they advertised this is they didn't do a trailer. This is just a picture of a clip. You can watch it on YouTube. Just type in The Boys season 3 teaser. And it's like news footage. And if you can see, this guy looks like he's on like a news network of some sort. And they're talking about some of these people that are missing, like he's missing, Huey is his name. He's missing. A lot of other people are dead. There's some heroes missing. They even show like Starlight and her new hit single got coming out. They integrate with some of this like Christian stuff here and there and showing some churches. Or anyways, it's just a cool little advertisement. It was very smart. And it's not even like a short clip of just like a quick news thing. It's actually like feels like a 4-minute segment or a 3-minute segment of them covering up on some news and they, about the Vault, the 7. Pretty cool. They talk about the new movies that are coming out in that world. And if you guys are fans or not fans of The Boys, if you are, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not and you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. Now, it's not for kids. It's just not. It's not a kid's show whatsoever. It's really violent and it's kind of randy in moments, but it is fantastically done. And it's one of the most interesting comic book properties brought to the screen in a while for me. Like, I still love all the Marvel stuff and everything, but this is very original. It's adult. It's dark. It's written by a guy named Garth Ennis. And I say written, I take that back. It's based on the comics that he created called The Boys. And it's very dark. There's way more source material to pull from than just what you've seen in this show. So don't worry about them running out of steam with The Boys. There's a lot of good stuff to pull from. I think that they did sign on for 5 seasons. I could be wrong about that, but haven't seen it. Highly recommend watching that show and you'll binge it too. Both seasons are on Amazon Prime. It's an Amazon Prime original. You'll binge it quick if you dig it. It might be too much from you because, like I said, it is violent and it is mature, but it's also really funny. The writing's really quippy. The characters, you get into them. Just watch it if you haven't seen it, and if you have seen it, you know what I mean. It flipping rocks. Well, one of my next little articles here, which I'm excited about this, but I'm also not excited because I'm just not sure where it's going. I I don't know if you guys remember the last three Star Trek films, but sorry, this is going to switch in a second. There we go. Computer is just why it was not doing this right before I started filming, and now it's just whacking out on me. Just give me a second. But if you guys were a fan of the last Star Trek films, I loved those movies. I thought they were solid. Thought one was excellent. Thought two was really good. Could have been a little better. I wish they wouldn't have done the con thing. But part three, I actually really liked. In a sense, it's kind of my favorite one. It's directed by Justin Lin, the same guy who did Fast and Furious 3, 4, 5, 6, and the last one, F9. Yeah, guys, and 5 of them. Well, he he did a pretty good job on Beyond. I really thought that was a great vision. It felt more Star Trek than the first two, in my opinion. Well, this guy right here is the guy who did WandaVision, and he is directing the next Star Trek movie. Now, I'm not sure what's going on here because nobody else has signed on for the film as far as the actors that were in the other three. They have not hinted to them starting over with Star Trek. They have definitely made it clear that they do like this cast and they want to build on it more. And, I don't think anybody's ever going to give up on the new cast right now. I think the new cast is pretty well received. But at the same time, I'm not sure how many people are just jumping out to get Star Trek films in their system. Now, with the resurgence of like the show Discovery and things like that, I do think there has been a little bit of a more of an interest in the whole Trekkie genre in general. It started to come up. Picard does another thing too, which personally I didn't really care for Picard. I haven't seen any of the next. I think there's season 2 now, maybe not. I don't know, but I didn't even watch all of season 1. It just wasn't pulling me in. I didn't like it. But I'm pretty sure they're going to keep going with the characters they have now. Nobody's signed on yet, but that doesn't mean anything. Just because they haven't signed a contract doesn't mean that they're not talking about it. Doesn't mean that they haven't even decided that, yes, I'm doing it. Sometimes just signing the contract is a matter of paperwork and business, and they haven't been able to meet to actually do the work of signing it. That's it. Now, sometimes that's not what it means. Sometimes it means that they're having trouble convincing them to do it. I do think all of these people want to do it. I think all of them are interested in it. The one thing that I'm a little worried about is, I don't know if you guys remember Anton Yelchin. He died a few years ago, and he's the guy who played Scotty in the movie. Not Scotty, Simon Pegg played Scotty. He's the guy who played Chekhov. And he did a great job as Chekhov. But not only did he do a great job as Chekhov, he was a phenomenal actor. And he got killed in a terrible way by his Jeep rolling backwards because of a recall on a parking brake. And it hit him and smashed him into his gate where he lived or something like that. Just a terrible, terrible thing that happened. So because of that happened right after Star Trek Beyond. Because of that, he can't be Chekhov anymore, obviously. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do with that. They kind of did a weird thing where they could kind of write him off in the third one a little. You could see that, but I'm just curious to see how they handle that in this upcoming one. And honestly, to have an original Star Trek cast without Chekhov, like have all the other characters without Chekhov, I don't know. He's one of the ingredients. Just he is, in my opinion. So I'm just curious to see what they do with that. Now, moving on to some horror news. I don't know how many Chucky fans we got out there, but I am a huge Child's Play fan. And we had Child's Play movies come out, 1, 2, 3. Then we had our Chucky movies, which they were the Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky. Then they had Curse of Chucky and Cult of Chucky, which Seed of Chucky is hands down the one that's really hard for me to watch. It's just too ridiculous. But Bride of Chucky I like for its own reasons. Curse of Chucky I really liked. And Cult of Chucky I really liked too. It was a lot of fun. I think they're keeping the character alive in a good way. Well, when they did that remake of Child's Play that got released recently, was the remake in the theater, a total rehash that had Aubrey Plaza in it. It was actually really good. I really enjoyed that one. I think it actually the majority of old school Child's Play fans really liked that one too, because they did make it its own thing. They changed some things up and they didn't try to nod too much to the original and mess with the lore of the original. And Don Mancini, the writer and director and all that stuff of the original Child's Play stuff, and has kept it going the entire time. It's been his baby. He has got this coming out on Sci-Fi. They've been talking about it forever. Now, you got to remember, a lot of people, first off, being like, Chucky on Sci-Fi. Well, it's a TV show, and Sci-Fi isn't regular cable. It's not like NBC, or it's not network television. It's not like NBC, ABC, and all that, where they're really censored. These guys are cable television, and now cable television can do a lot more, where they can show a lot more. Think about Walking Dead. That's on AMC. That shows a lot. I mean, they do a lot of cool stuff with it. So I'm excited about this. I'm excited to see sort of I think Chucky fits well into the TV genre. And I don't mean like being censored. I mean, he fits well into that episodic, let's go to the next one, we got to wait. And I just like the idea of seeing Chucky on an 8 to 10 to 12, however many episodes they're doing. I like to see him on a spree that whole time. And, you know, what's Chucky going to do the next episode? And I don't know. I feel like the character fits that TV format well. So I'm really excited about this. And they're airing the trailer for it. We've been waiting for this. I've been hearing about it for about 2 years now. And they're airing the trailer for this at the Comic-Con at Home this year, they're calling it. So the major Comic-Con, I don't think it's the San Diego one, but a major Comic-Con they're doing at home, where they're doing all kinds of releases, because they know that a lot of people are just not doing Comic-Cons like they used to. A lot of people aren't moving around and getting out in major crowds like that. Especially, I mean, yeah, they're doing it at sports games and things like that. But if you guys have ever been to a Comic-Con, I mean, it's a crowded one at least. It's shoulder to shoulder, and you're never not shoulder to shoulder. You're constantly intertwining between people. So you move and come across so many people throughout that day. I could see why people are a little on the fence about going. So I can see why they're doing this Comic-Con at Home thing. So we're getting Chucky. Going to get a trailer for that. I'm truly, truly excited about that, because, yeah, we got that Child's Play remake, but this is the original Child's Play lore still connecting to all the original films. So the fact that Chucky's still going, I love that. And Brad Dourif is going to do the voice for him, which Brad Dourif has done the voice for Chucky for all of the films except for the remake, which was done by Mark Hamill. Genius, by the way. He did a great job. But Brad Dourif as the original Chucky, I love it. And I think it's awesome that he's coming back for it. He's even said how he feels like Chucky is sort of his. He loves it. And that's great, because Brad Dourif is a phenomenal actor. He can do way other things than just be a creepo. He is a good actor, but he is synonymous with Chucky. Other horror news. I talked about this the other day, and I'm super excited about it now. And I didn't realize this. I just found out about this thing like 2 days ago, 3 days ago. And this comes out tomorrow night. American Horror Stories is releasing tomorrow night. FX on Hulu at 9 o'clock. I'm not sure if it's coming out on FX, the channel on TV, but I know that if you have Hulu, it's releasing on FX on Hulu at 9 o'clock Central. Totally excited about this. And their first 2 episodes, if you see this right here and you're familiar with American Horror Story, are going to be the Rubber Man and the Rubber Woman, but they're calling it Rubber Woe Man, like WOWAN. In fact, I'll show you the little article on how, actually I'm not, because that took forever to do that last time. But yeah, they're spelling it WO parentheses MAN. So if you guys have seen that in the past, as far as the Rubber Man, that's a huge deal in the lore, especially in season 1. And it comes back a little bit in other ways. They just kind of implement here and there, especially in Apocalypse when they do like the crossovers and all that. But they just released this picture mainly of the episode, and it's going to be a 2-parter. That's pretty cool. So we're getting episode 1 and 2 tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, which I'm stoked about. I think that's a great idea. But they are a 2-parter of the same story of Woman, or the Woman. Again, I'm probably sound like an idiot saying that. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to say it, but that picture alone has already got me excited. It's just provocative. It's mysterious. It's creepy. It's disturbing. It's so American Horror Story. So I just didn't know that was coming out tomorrow night. I'm super pumped about that. I'm so happy that summer's here and Hollywood just seems to be back. There's so much just news happening again. I mean, for that first year of the pandemic, yeah, we were getting some news in the beginning about things shutting down and all that, and we were still kind of interested. But man, there was a minute where we were having to deal with sort of some trash, garbage material news and actually what we were having to watch. So I'm just happy that all this good stuff's coming back. And then the season 10 of American Horror Story called Double Feature, where I talked about that. They're doing 2 story arcs in one season. And I think they both take place in the same city or the same area and all that, even can intertwine with each other. Just kind of cool doing that grindhouse thing. That comes out in August. Getting ready for Halloween, which means we're going to get a Halloween episode with American Horror Story, which I always love those. Those are always my favorite. So I'm just pumped, as you can tell, excited. This is also some horror stuff to touch on. I just had to talk about this because it's so hilarious. We were talking about the Lego toys of Spider-Man being released earlier and kind of giving us a glimpse at Spider-Man in his new suit in the No Way Home. They just released, they're doing these toys for Jurassic Park. Man, I wish I would have had this toy growing up. Look at that, a detachable arm with Samuel Jackson. Remember, he gets his arm chopped off by the raptor and it's got blood on it. Man, I mean, yeah, I got figurines now that are cool and stuff behind me back here that can be graphic and all that, but those are made for adults. This is a kid's toy and it's a detachable arm you can take on and off. And he's all, look, he's in distress over here. And he's, I just think that's hilarious, man. Where were those toys when we were kids? I love it. So I hope that, honestly, I mean, if it looked a little better, I might get it. But honestly, these days there's more articulation than there used to be. So who knows? Depending on how collectible the thing might be, I might get it. I'm a huge collector. So that's not a big story or anything. I just thought that was something funny to show with you guys. One more thing about the M.C.U. that I actually forgot to share a second ago, and I did want to share that with you guys because I think it's interesting. Just showing you how they're tying some stuff in. So you guys aren't familiar with, they're doing a She-Hulk show. And this is Tatiana Maslany, who's going to be playing She-Hulk. And she is not Jennifer Walters is her name in the comic book. She's not the same as the Hulk in the sense that she doesn't get massive like he does, at least not from what I remember. She is big. She's bigger than most people, but she's bigger like an oversized bodybuilder big, not like big, tall, like 1.5 stories tall like the Hulk is. So I'm excited to see what they do with this. I'm not saying it's a bad choice by any means, because one, she's a good actress, but I wouldn't have been like, you know what, you're going to be She-Hulk, but maybe she did something in the audition that's going to be great. But from what I understand, they're going to be breaking the fourth wall with this character like she does in the comic books, sort of the way Deadpool does. And I guess I'm okay with that, but the last thing I want is everybody to start breaking the fourth wall in movies. Like, I think it's cool that Deadpool does it. It's his thing. Deadpool's character does that. That's fine. Make it your thing. But if you start using that fourth wall thing to make a joke all the time, it's kind of, I don't know. It's like Malcolm in the Middle. The reason they didn't break the fourth wall on so many sitcoms because it started to seem like a ripoff once they started doing it more. But Malcolm in the Middle was one of the original ones that did it. Not saying he was the OG, but he was one of the original ones. So they said they're going to be breaking the fourth wall with this one a lot. I'm curious to see what that's going to be like. I hope it doesn't ruin it. I hope it doesn't mean the show is going to be slightly comedic. I mean, I know it's going to be a little more lighthearted, but I don't know. Thus far, Marvel hasn't disappointed me. There's certain things I've been crazier about than others, but we'll see. Still on the coat, or still talking about She-Hulk. I know you guys remember the Abomination. Tim Roth played him in The Incredible Hulk. So this was him in The Incredible Hulk. He's gonna be in the She-Hulk show on Disney Plus. Kevin Feige, that was one of the things he admitted and released right away. She will be in the She-Hulk show, or he will be in the She-Hulk show. Tim Roth as Abomination, along with Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner. He's going to be in the show too. I mean, he's Jennifer Walters' cousin. I mean, he's partially how she becomes the Hulk. It's a blood transfusion thing. I don't want to get into that. But this on the right is Abomination, who is in the trailer for Shang-Chi. Now, at first I was like, is this Abomination or not? Because he looks different. But they're saying it is definitely. They've confirmed this is Abomination. He looks like the Abomination more from the comics with the big ears and everything like that. In fact, let me go to another shot. I've got him, the shot of him in the Shang-Chi trailer. And this is him right here. And I'll enlarge this. There you can see those ears. Now, I mean, that's definitely Abomination from the comics. It just doesn't look like the Abomination that we saw in Incredible Hulk. But it is him, and things change, and who knows what other kind of serums this guy's been taking, who's been testing on him, what he's been up to on his own, all that stuff. But this is the Shang-Chi trailer, and it looks like that he's fighting in an arena. Curious to see where they're going to go with that. But I just like that the character of Abomination is coming back, that he's going to be in the She-Hulk show and Shang-Chi, which means something's going on with him. So I'm wondering if we're going to get a Red Hulk or a Gray Hulk coming up soon. General Ross, the Thunderbolt's coming up. He could be the Red Hulk because he is in the comics. I don't know. It looks like they're recruiting stuff. The Contessa, she was at the end of Black Widow. She was also in Falcon Winter Soldier. She was trying to recruit John Walker in that. She was trying to recruit Yelena in Black Widow. I'm just saying something's going on here. And the fact that they just showed that and confirmed fully that it is Abomination in the Shang-Chi trailer, and he is also going to be in She-Hulk, I'm excited. Something's up. I'm really excited. Well, getting no, this is one more funny thing I thought was interesting. And I do have to share this, and it's going to take me a second. My screen might mess up on us, but just give me a minute. Oh, so far we're all right. We'll see. But I bet you when I switch right here, it's going to do it. But while this is switching, old Joe Exotic, you remember that bad boy? I think he's still in jail. I don't think he's getting out. But you remember that Nick Cage was tapped to play him, and it agreed that he was going to play him in a series, and it was going to be an Amazon series. That's kind of funny. Look at that dark beard. I mean, I love Nick Cage. He's wacky, he's cool, and all that stuff. But he is a great actor, but he's wacky. Come on, everybody knows. Like, just the dyed beard thing. I don't know if I can do it. It looks so over the top, in my opinion. It looks painted on, but he was supposed to be Joe Exotic, and now Amazon has said that they are up. They're not going forward, and it's likely that it's not going to be shopped by anybody else. So they were all getting ready to do it and everything. We were all excited to see Joe Exotic played by Nick Cage, but I got to say, honestly, the buzz went down over Joe Exotic. It's over. It was the flavor of the month. I don't think it's really worth making a whole show out of, especially since we've seen the Netflix series, the documentary. However, Kate McKinnon and this other dude, John Cameron Mitchell, are going to be they got a show coming out on Peacock. It's going to be about Joe Exotic. John Cameron Mitchell's playing Joe Exotic, and Kate McKinnon is playing Carol Baskin. So I think she's perfect for Carol Baskin. That's funny, but with her playing that, it's making me think it might be a comedy, which I'm more inclined to watch a comedy about Joe Exotic than I am to watch like a serious actual show. I don't know. Like I said, he was a flavor of the month, and it's going away. It's dying down. Two more things, or actually just one more thing. And this is the one that's gotten me really, really excited too, and some horror news. You guys know about the Dexter season coming out, season 9. They're doing the revival, they're calling it. A lot of people call the other ones the reunion. I think this one's called the revival because I think they have plans to do more than one season. So that's pretty sweet. But just recently, these two guys confirmed to be in season 9. Now, I loved Dexter. Absolutely loved Dexter. I thought it was an excellent show, except for season 8. I think we can all agree that season 8, especially the ending, it was just a letdown. I wasn't even like hating season 8. It was starting to feel like they were running out of steam somehow. But the way it ended, the final episode, I think we can all agree we were pretty upset with that. That was pretty crappy. It definitely was not what we wanted to see. A lot of holes in it. It didn't make sense. But John Lithgow just reportedly said that he came back. He is coming back, and he was only coming back for a little bit of the revival. He said he was only on set for one day, which is making me think it's a flashback, because if you guys remember with him killing Rita and all that stuff, sorry, spoiler, but with him doing all that, it affected Dexter's life massively. I mean, it changed the course of Dexter's life in the show. So he was arguably the most effective villain in Dexter's life in the series, and he was the villain that mattered the most to Dexter in the series, in my opinion. And then Deb playing his sister, she's coming back, which making me think that she's not really dead, or it could be some Harry thing. And when I say Harry thing, if you guys remember, his dad in the show, Harry, was the guy that played his father. but also Harry was dead in the show, but Harry would be like that ghost mentor that would sort of, the ghost would appear and sort of be his guiding light. He would always guide him all the time. Well, I kind of think that Deb is going to be that in this one. And a lot of people think that. That's not my original theory, but once I heard that, I was like, that actually is the only way that it really makes sense. We can't really have her alive. And I think that would make for a lot of fun banter between the two of them. Him really arguing with a ghost. I mean, that's kind of cool. Dexter really arguing with the girl he argued with more than anybody in life, which he loved as his sister, but adopted sister. That's a whole thing. You just got to watch the show. But I do think it'd be cool to see them arguing. I think that would make for a good dynamic in the show, you know, arguing with the ghost. And then John Lithgow coming back. I think that's phenomenal. I love Jennifer Carpenter. I think she's an excellent actress. Don't see her in enough stuff. And John Lithgow, I mean, come on. He's made his way in Hollywood. Everybody knows he's phenomenal. So I'm just really excited about that. I'm excited that there is a teaser trailer out there for it. So it is a teaser. It's not big, but it is happening. It's not rumors anymore. It's all in the works. So I might have to get Showtime again and on another streaming service. God. Well, guys, that's all I got for you today. I went through a lot. Thank y'all so much for tuning back in today. Again, sorry for yesterday missing out, but I'll be back tomorrow with some more news. And then got some more stuff coming out this Friday. I got that Know What You Did Last Summer coming out this Friday as well. So be looking out for that. And I'll talk to y'all soon. Look for BrassReel Brothers on Facebook. Look for Bobby Williams on Facebook. And you can find me on Twitter, BrassReel Bobby at BrassReel. And always hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Thank you so much, guys. Love y'all.